Let's move to this now. It's said to be an evening of elegance, fashion and flair at the 3rd annual Queer Met taking place in Sandton. The colourful event will celebrate the LGBTQI plus community by blending fashion as well as art. Today's event also takes place just a week before Johannesburg Pride, which will see hundreds from the gay and queer community parade and march through the city. Newzroom Afrika's Katleho joins us live from Sandton with more on those details. Katleho, it's a night of flair, glitz and glamour, but also important issues being raised there. Give us the latest of what's happening there.
A very good evening, Nhlanhla. Certainly the guests have started to arrive here in Sandton, and it is the Queer Met, and it's an exciting evening where there'll be lots of entertainment, fun and art, and it's really about celebrating the LGBTQI plus community. And as you rightly note, that happens a week before Joburg Pride, and that's taking place next week Saturday on the 26th of October, and it's all about celebrating the LGBTQI community and also really an advocacy platform to say that it's a wonderful thing to be gay and queer, and that there's nothing to be ashamed of. And so I do have one of the organizers and directors of tonight's event, as well as Pride. Kay, thank you so much for your time. What is the Queer Met all about, and why is it such a celebration?
Well, diversity, equality and inclusion is very important to us. And when we look at the situation, we're always begging for a seat at the table. So the idea behind the Queer Met was actually to create our own tables. And I think we've created it very beautifully. But ideally, the meaning and the purpose behind the Queer Met is to bring a combination of activities together. As to bring the celebrities, the influencers, as well as corporate South Africa, who are the decision makers, together into a unified platform so that we can highlight our cause, ultimately, which is creating visibility and awareness of the LGBT community's plight within the African context. And that's what this day is for. Amongst the Queer Met is one of 4 events that we as Pride of Africa host during October. One being the Empowerment Summit. The Empowerment Summit is actually the platform that we use to speak about any activities that are prevalent to the LGBT community, and this year's focus was very much on trans awareness and the trans community and advocating for trans rights in Africa. We also have the secret venue, which was a pool party, which is basically creating a safe space for the community to come out in their authentic selves and enjoy themselves in a safe space, knowing that they are fully accepted into that space and that they can be themselves.
Yeah. Now, Kay, in terms of South Africa and its progressiveness in terms of the rights of the LGBTQI plus community, one can say we're far ahead the rest of the continent. Do you think there's still challenges in terms of policy, perhaps, or just structures that just make it not just a space to be tolerated, but really celebrated?
100%. South Africa is definitely, in my opinion, seen as a role model for Africa in terms of our progressive constitution, our progressive policy. However, in practice, in implementation, we are falling short. There are issues. For example, your police services, your Department of Home Affairs, basic government, municipal officials need to be sensitized. There has to be some form of sensitization training that still needs to take place to tie in between what happens in practice and what our constitution and our rights are within the South African context.
And so, Kay, what would you say in terms of breaking the everyday taboos? I mean, we just had Soweto Pride, we have Joburg Pride coming out, and you see people, the Pride March, walking through the streets in communities and really breaking down those barriers. Besides the march, how do we break into the hearts of people to change stereotypes and taboos?
So I think from my perspective, thank you for bringing that up. I think the organizer of Soweto Pride is actually with us this evening. We're actually very good friends. And when we look at the context of how we break it down, one of the contexts is to make sure that we align with corporates, because those are your places of employment where you spend majority of your time. Your work family is as much as part of your life as your home family. And when we can start getting diversity, inclusivity, and awareness and acceptance created in the workspace, that gives you the ability to be yourself 100% of the time. And you have the ability to then just be natural and carry on with life without any stigma or stereotype associated to you. And hence, when you look at how we create synergies, we look at incorporating all facets of life and all aspects of life and bring them together. So when we look at it, we want to bring the corporates in as our support base for two reasons. One, we unfunded, so their donations make it possible for us to A, continuously put on the Pride event, two, to make sure that Pride remains a no barrier to entry event, which means that it's free entrance, and three, to actually highlight the fact that corporate South Africa has become more inclusive, has become more diversity conscious, and is working on equality in a very, very big way.
And Kay, I guess just another one. Let's talk about some of the people who are here. You mentioned that these are TikTok babies or social influencers. Why was it important to bring them into this space? And I guess the cultural power that they have, what role do they have in that sense?
Look, I think we have to, and for me it's a very big challenge. I'm someone that is a Gen X. We have to include all the different generations, and they all speak different languages. So in order for us to be successful, we have to make sure that we have people giving the right messages. Hence, we have the TikTok influencers, we have the Instagram influencers, we have the Facebook influencers, and then you have little old me that comes from the Arc Ages. But to be quite honest, that helps us create the visibility, that helps us create the awareness, because every bit of information that is shared for Johannesburg Pride that goes viral, all it means is that it's more awareness for Africa. It's more awareness for a continent where 33 out of 54 countries still have very prevalent anti-LGBT laws, and in some cases punishable by death. It's 2024. We need to start invoking change. The only way we can invoke change, and as an unfunded organization, the only way we see how we can invoke change is by making sure our advocacy, our voice is heard, and we leverage off our community for that.
And I guess just your last message to those people taking part in Joburg Pride next week who are excited to be part of the event.
Johannesburg Pride March is turning 35 on the 26th of October. So what we want is we want everyone to come in all their flamboyance and be their authentic self, because the theme is actually proudly African, authentically you. So we're inviting everyone to come and participate in the march in their authentic selves. So if you're not ready yet, you've got a week, but see you on the 26th of October, corner West and Mod. The Pride entrance, main entrance for the eventing Pride Village is going to be outside Hotel Sky. Please join us.
Thank you so much for that, Kay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And Sansa, you heard it there from Kay Ali, one of the directors and organizers of today's event, as well as Johannesburg Pride, really calling out to everyone to come out next week, Saturday, in all their flamboyance. And today is about bringing, cultural influences and corporate into one space, and to really push the advocacy of celebrating and promoting the rights of the LGBTQI+ community.